To talk about the future is to talk about the unknown. At the same time, to talk about the future is to talk about the hopes and aspirations of a people. I am unable to accept the saying that has it that the golden age is always in the past. It is obvious that Africa's golden age is yet to come. How can we not hope for a golden future when we're blessed with such enormous wealth and human potential? The world, and for that matter, Africa, has the largest generation of young people in history. And I'm placing great hope in their potential to shape the future of Africa and to make Africa the lion that it was meant to be. Africa has to have a strategy to reap the demographic dividend that a youthful and vibrant population offers. The Asian tigers, who have become Africa's envy list of nations, and I mean by that South Korea, Japan, Singapore, and Malaysia, are where they are today because of the demographic dividends that they harnessed when they experienced a shift in their population dynamics. Their period of growth and boom happened when their population shifted from one of many dependents to one dominated by the working age group. And this is where we in Africa are today. We ought not to fail to realize that we are at the brink of a breakthrough. This is one of the ways by which we can make our students and graduates globally competitive, since they would have access to the best library resources around the world. There's also a critical need to involve young people in decisions that will affect them. We cannot talk about sustainable development without the active involvement of youth. Ban Ki-moon, the outgoing Secretary General of the United Nations, argues that when we give young people decent jobs, political weight, negotiating muscle, and real influence in our world, they will create a brighter future. Hence, we cannot talk about shaping the future without talking about the welfare and well-being of young people. Let us take these ideas forward to harness the demographic dividend, holding human rights, gender equality, development of human capital, and dignity at the center of all our investments. Only by providing opportunities that open the future to all young people do we create a brighter future. My address represents a dream, but it's a dream that is grounded in reality. I do not believe that the African has a DNA that dooms us to failure. We can, like all the other peoples that have succeeded, make life meaningful and worth living for our own people. We must cultivate an irrepressible desire to do right by the citizen. The resources of our nations belongs to the people. They do not belong to the political class. To appropriate the wealth of our nations for the benefit of only political classes of family and friends is both morally wrong and criminally culpable. On my part, I've already sounded a warning to those who shall be serving in my government that doing so shall not be an avenue to amass wealth. I've said that for those who want to make money, they should find their place in the private sector, which we shall strengthen to be the vehicle for job creation, growth, and development. Public service must be exactly that, public service. And we have to do it ourselves. We cannot expect others to do it for us. Many of us felt a sense of guilt and shame when the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair said, quote, "Africa is a scar on the conscience of the world," unquote. We can and must build Africa on a strong foundation of the ability and industry of its citizens, an Africa that exemplifies the true spirit of its people, living towards a common goal of better existing. There is an abundance of entrepreneurial talent on our continent, struggling to express itself. We have to encourage this with full force. This is what Joseph Boakai Dankwa, the Ghanaian colossus, who was the father of modern Ghanaian nationalism and the founder of the political tradition out of which my party, the MPP, has emerged, meant when he said as far back as 1961, over 50 years ago, that the party's policy, and I quote, is to liberate the energies of the people for the growth of a property-owning democracy in this land, with a right to life and freedom and justice as the principles to which the government and laws of the land should be dedicated, in order specifically to enrich the lives, property, and liberty of each and every citizen, unquote. Thankfully, most of Africa is determined to chart a fresh and new path. The change mantra continues to resonate across the continent. In Nigeria, you voted for change. In the Gambia, they voted for change. In Ghana, we have just voted for change. Let not this change mantra become a mere political slogan. Let it serve as the impetus for reshaping our countries and charting a new path of growth and development in freedom, which will lift the long-suffering African masses out of poverty into the realms of prosperity and dignified existence. Once again, I thank you sincerely for making a part of this conversation. God bless us all. God bless Nigeria and Ghana. God bless Mother Africa. Thank you.